The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6 is almost here. We have to talk about all the different things that we think will be in this episode. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about Luke Skywalker and Grogu. But there's some other crazy possibilities as well. What's up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerdvengers Tower. Smash a like on this video if you're super excited for The Book of Boba Fett, Episode 6. And oh boy, Star Wars fans, it feels like the night before Christmas. This is honestly one of the reasons I love what I do. Getting invested in these fun, nerdy things is a true joy, but there are specific moments like the anticipation of Spider-Man No Way Home, like going to see one of the new Star Wars movies in theaters, or seeing an episode like this that is so set up for wild, crazy reveals, fan service out the wazoo, and perhaps a better look at what the future of Star Wars content looks like on Disney+. These kind of moments make it a true joy to have this kind of a job, and I can't wait to be watching this episode live with a ton of different people on our live streaming channel, reacting on social media with you guys, talking about it in future streams. I think we're in for a real treat. Now, before we get into this, there are two main points that I want to make to you right now. Number one, there are no serious in-depth leaks with regards to what will happen in these next two episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. There have been some rumors out there. There's a lot of speculation. There's a few little hints that insiders have given us, but we don't know what is happening in these next two episodes. Anybody that tells you they know for sure is either lying or is an employee of Lucasfilm that shouldn't be talking about it. And I really just want to say that for the people out there that don't want surprises ruined, they want to have some surprises. I think there's still plenty of surprises out there, but also there's no guarantee that some of the things we will talk about in this video are going to show up in the show. Like, it is technically possible no Luke Skywalker in Book of Boba Fett Episode 6. But the second thing I want to tell you before we get into all of this is that there have been some rumors out there, and we're going to try to speculate and pull together the best, most reliable things that have been rumored out there from different scoopers and insiders. So technically, possible spoilers ahead, but this is going to be a lot of speculation and thinking about rumors. But having said all of that, I am 99% certain that Luke Skywalker will be in the Book of Boba Fett Episode 6. And to just be completely transparent, part of this has to do with me believing that Luke will be in the show from a long, long time ago. I had heard a couple of different people tell me Luke's likely going to be in the show. I talked to my favorite source, Dude Trust Me Bro. He said, yes, Luke will be in the show. And I have been constantly looking for a sort of on-ramp into the possibility of Luke being in the show ever since the first trailer. If you guys have been watching me in these videos, or you've been watching me on Nerd Theory, you'll recall I was looking for Luke Skywalker hints even in the first teaser trailer for the Book of Boba Fett. And so with all of that evidence, with Din Djarin saying he needs to go see his little friend, I now have the on-ramp I've been looking for, and I'm pretty dang certain that we're going to see Luke with Grogu in Episode 6. And I just want to stop here for a second and say, if you really don't think so, can you just stop and go into the comment section and explain why? Like, do you really think that John and Dave would set up the next episode with Din saying that he's got to go visit his little friend, and you're not going to actually see that in Episode 6, and you won't see Luke Skywalker? Like, where else could Grogu be? But the real question is, where is Luke Skywalker? And as sort of a small aside here, how will Din Djarin know where Luke is at? Well, let's talk about what we know, and then we'll talk about a couple of different options. We know that Grogu is with Luke Skywalker training. Din Djarin is tasked by the Armorer to take the foundling Grogu to Jedi, to his own people, so that he can be with the Jedi and train. Din first seeks out Ahsoka. Ahsoka tests Grogu. We get the sort of name drop. She explains that he had trained under different Jedi masters at the old temple on Coruscant, but she can't train him. He is too attached to Mandalorian, and so what she tells Din is to go to a seeing stone on Tython and have Grogu sit upon the Seeing Stone. He'll make his own decision, and then a Jedi might feel him in the Force and come looking for him. That Jedi was Luke Skywalker, and the last time we see Grogu, he is being held by Luke, and Luke literally says talent without training is meaningless. And so we know that Grogu is with Luke training, but the question is, where is he training at? And I guess the question is, where in the timeline exactly is this taking place? Has Luke created his new Jedi Academy yet? From what we gather from the canon information out there, there was a time when Luke Skywalker was just going around with Lor San Tekka and sort of being like an Indiana Jones type dude, rescuing different Jedi artifacts from places where the Emperor had them hidden. We see this play out in the Battlefront 2 game, but it's also just implied throughout various art books and even the discussions around The Force Awakens and what Lor San Tekka said in that movie, that Luke spent a long time out there just seeking relics and wisdom before he settled down and established his Jedi Academy. So maybe Luke Skywalker is actually still just adventuring around with Lor San Tekka, and he's looking for different artifacts out there, trying to understand the Force, and maybe he'll now be doing that with Grogu. So perhaps we see Din find Luke out on a mission with Grogu. And to be honest with you, that option would be really, really cool, because you could get a little Indiana Jones type adventure with Luke, with Grogu. Maybe Din Djarin helps them out. And if it gets really crazy, we could see Luke and Din sort of fighting together. Din with the Darksaber, Luke with his green lightsaber, and they could be fighting against, who knows, all sorts of different things. So that's one option, but it's also possible that Luke's Jedi Academy has already been established. Now, maybe this will be the actual academy with the Jedi Temple that we see during The Last Jedi, the one that Kylo Ren destroys, but then we find out later it was actually Emperor Palpatine that destroyed it. Maybe that place is already established and Luke is just taking Grogu there to train with other students, or maybe Luke is just building that place and the only student he has is Grogu. And I would prefer this option. I would love it if the Jedi Temple is already there, if Master Luke Skywalker maybe has several students. Maybe we see a Ben Solo there. Maybe we see a Cal Kestis. Maybe we even see Ezra Bridger or other Jedi like that training with Luke and Grogu when Din rolls up. And if they go that route with the Jedi Temple and Academy, I think there's all sorts of room to establish a lot of what Luke was doing at that time, which will inform the character of Luke Skywalker years and years later when we find him in the sequel trilogy. Let's talk about how Din is going to find him. Now, the one answer for this that would be kind of boring, but would be, I guess, okay for pacing in the show, is that Din just rolls up. Maybe somebody helped him find out where Luke is at. Maybe it's already established where this new academy is at, and Din reaches out to some people he knows. It's on the HoloNet, and then he finds Luke that way. But what I'm personally hoping for here, and what I think would be way more interesting, is if Din can just feel Grogu in the Force. If Din rolls up to the new Jedi Academy without really knowing how to find it, and Luke has this place as sort of a hidden off the beaten path location, it will introduce the element of Din Djarin having some Force sensitivity. And I might do a whole video on this, but I strongly feel like Din Djarin is Force sensitive. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but he might even have some kind of a dyad-esque thing going on with little Grogu. And this would be the perfect way to draw this out, have Luke Skywalker comment on it, and then be open to the idea of maybe helping Din just a little bit. Now, I don't think Luke is going to take Din Djarin in and train him completely as a Jedi, but he might be able to impart some wisdom on Din, which will help Din with his own journey of being open to the Force. You have to be balanced, and you have to be bonded with the Darksaber to be able to use it easily. We must imagine Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian Jedi, was aware of this. We see Sabine struggle with this, but become open and able to use the blade more easily. And even the armorer herself seems to have knowledge of Jedi training and the ability to hold the blade without much effort. And this would be the perfect story way to establish that Din is Force sensitive, to allow Luke Skywalker to comment on it, and that would be by Din just feeling where Grogu is at through the Force and showing up at the Jedi Temple. And basically Luke would be like, hey, this isn't on Google Maps. How did you find us? And Din would say, I just felt it. And then Luke could maybe then help him with his force sensitivity. Now, I want to talk about a couple other crazy possibilities here. A lot of folks believe Han Solo could be in the Book of Boba Fett, and I feel that way as well. But I think that will be something saved for episode 7. I don't think that's going to be something that happens in episode 6, although it is technically possible. Perhaps Han is dropping off Ben Solo to Luke's academy or something like that. So it's technically on the table. I'm just leaning towards that being in episode 7, but it's definitely something that I still think will happen. On top of that, there's a lot of rumors that Qi'ra will be in this show, and I actually do think that's still possible, but also likely to be happening in episode 7. Some keen-eyed Star Wars fans did notice that a ship that looks very much like Darth Maul's ship was seen in episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett in that floating space station. And this has led me down a path where I think the Armorer is actually possibly connected to the old Mandalorians that served with Darth Maul, and she is possibly a person still loyal to Crimson Dawn, as Qi'ra was something like an apprentice to Maul and is now in control, we think, of Crimson Dawn. And so it's possible that Crimson Dawn and Darth Maul and Qi'ra and the Armor are all connected, and that Din Djarin is going to have to make sense of the person that he looks up to in the Armor actually being loyal to Maul and Qi'ra and the Crimson Dawn. And with this episode being written and possibly directed by Dave Filoni, I still think it's possible you get a tease of where Ahsoka is at, a tease of what Grand Admiral Thrawn is doing, and I don't know how this could show up in the episode, but something tells me that this connection to Crimson Dawn, the connection with the Armor and Darth Maul, that all of this is going to end up being connected to Thrawn, and that Thrawn will be pulling the strings, perhaps of Crimson Dawn, or perhaps of many different things going on in the galaxy. Perhaps this will be commented on by Luke Skywalker, or perhaps we'll just see a scene that is setting that kind of a thing up. Regardless, this feels like it's going to be an epic episode. I think most Star Wars fans are anticipating crazy stuff. I think seeing Luke again in live action is going to be fantastic. We'll get a look at what Shamook, the new YouTuber that does those deepfakes, he was hired by Lucasfilm. I strongly feel Luke will look and sound much better when we see him in this episode than he did even in the finale of The Mandalorian Season 2, and the Filoniverse and this crazy thing that John and Dave are building out on Disney Plus. I think we're taking another step into just how crazy that's all going to be with the Book of Boba Fett episode 6. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to this channel to see more of our content pop up in your recommended feed. Check me out on TikTok. Check out the podcast on Spotify and on Apple. And make sure you come on by the live streaming channel, man. The live streaming channel is where we do a ton of fun content. It's one of the best ways to support our content with like a super chat or becoming a channel member and becoming a Nerdvenger yourself. So go check that out. As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.